All right, so uh, guys, we're going to be in this video. We're going to be talking about automating workbook functionalities, right? So, first one we're going to talk about is applying data validation. Now, we're also going to talk briefly about this, right? I'll show you this and I'll show you the concept. Then I've removed working with macro from this course, but you have the material and the slides. You can always go through it. So, applying data validation. That's it. So this is the regional expenses worksheet, right? This is the regional expenses worksheet. So I want to talk about data validation. So basically, data validation is just creating criteria that makes your answer wrong or right, right? Like if I ask you what your name is, you have like more than one name, right? You have a list of names, maybe like 3 names, and then you can give me any one of them when I ask you what is your name. You can tell me your middle name, you can tell me your first name, you can also tell me your surname, right? But if you said anything other than that, it will be wrong, right? So that means your response will be invalid. Do you understand? It's just basically creating a criteria to determine what is right and what is wrong. So if you are entering something inside a cell, how does Excel know that the information you have put in this cell is correct? That's just the concept. So in this case now, we're going to be working with a report. So this is the report of the North American worksheet, right? So there are quarterly values in this worksheet and all of that. Then we have in this sheet, in this valid data worksheet, we have the reported by list. So these are the correct journalists, right? These are the people that are supposed to report. I said journalists, reporters, basically people that made the report or collected the data. Now these are the people that were sanctioned to gather data for this company in these branches, right? So if I put my name in this box, reported by, right? If I say reported by Sam, I want it to flag wrong, right? That this sheet is wrong. So that's what we're talking about. So I'm going to say, how do I make Excel recognize only this list, right? And now it's not just list, you can do it for a lot of things, right? So delete. So first thing first, it's also like the protecting, right? Like protection, it is formatting. There are cell issues, right? So if you want to apply data validation to multiple cells, you have to highlight all the cells that you need to, right? So then I select this cell. This is where I want to apply the data validation. I go to my data tab and you see this icon. If you put your mouse on it, it's data validation come out, right? And there's a check on the top and the red circle at the bottom. So if you just click on it, you have this box. All right. So in this box, we have now the validation of this cell is set to any value, right? That means any value is allowed. I can write my name and need to enter. I can write before I do the data validation, basically. So now I want to change it because I have a list of names, right? So these are the values, these are the criteria I can use. I can say I want a whole number. If I say I want a whole number and I type in a decimal number, Excel will flag my answer wrong, right? It will tell me that the criteria is not, it doesn't fit the validation criteria for that cell, right? So I can also specify for decimals. I can specify a list. I can specify a date, right? A time period between this year and next year, between last week and this week, all of that, right? Then I can specify a time, right? I can also specify a text length, like let's say your name. I want you to enter your name, the first 3 alphabets of your name. If you try and enter it too long, if you enter the first 4 alphabets, it will return an error, right? That's what I'm trying to do. So in this case, we're using a list, right? So now it's asking me for the source of the list. Now all I simply need to do is select this, put my cursor in this source bar, right, in this field, or select this arrow. Either of them is fine, right? So while my cursor is blinking right here, I will click on my valid data worksheet and highlight the range of cells I'm interested in. Now if it was on the same worksheet, right, It shows as reported by because it is a named range in this cell, right? In this workbook. So the range has already been named. Right? We've done naming ranges now. So the name has already been created in Excel. So I just highlight it and I say that's all. I just go to my input message. Now input message is just a warning. I encourage you to try it. I'm not making it in the video, so I don't make the video long, right? But it's just a warning. It's an instruction, right? Not a warning. An instruction that appears when you click a cell that has data validation, so you know what to do. So in this case, I can, okay, let me just do it. I can say validation, right? And then I would say input messages, and then I can say input name of sanctioned reporter, right? So that's my input message. When I click the cell, it will show, it will appear. I'm wondering what's going on. So let me just do that again. So list source validator, and I'm good. So I'm good now. I go to my input message. So we already saw. Let me just type in something. And then my error alert, right? My error alert is just the type of error I want Excel to flag. How serious do I want Excel to take the data validation, right? I can say stop. If I say stop, that cell is not going to accept any data that is wrong, no matter what I do. It's going to give me an error, and it's not going to allow me to enter the cell. So I have to enter correct data, or I leave the cell empty, right? Now, if I say warning just warns you, do you want to continue? Your data is wrong, do you want to continue? If you say yes, then that's fine by you. Excel will take it, right? So and then information is just notifying the computer and me. Information doesn't warn the user. So I'm going to use warning for this case because I want to use it to teach. I want to show something at the end. So then I can also type the error message. So invalid reporter, and then the name you have entered is not on the list, right? So I'll say okay, right? So now when I select the cell, my input message shows, right? Remember, it is an instruction, right, for the user. Then I have this drop down box. When you use a list, you get a drop down box. There's a place to select it. Let me quickly show you. So when you select settings, this is it, in cell drop down. If I uncheck this, that arrow will disappear. If I check this, it will be there. So since it's checked, it's going to be there. So I can select it and then select from this. Since I do not know the names, right, I can select this. I need to take it. But if I try to enter Sam, nothing for me, right? Do I want to continue? But if I said stop, it will not allow me. It will just stop me, right? So if I say I want to continue, yes, it will take it, right? But remember, it warned me. So now, after doing all of that, if I want to see if it is valid or not, right, I just go to my data validation again. There's this arrow by the side of the icon. Select it and say circle invalid data, right? So immediately I circle invalid data. Even though I allowed it, Excel has still flagged it as an invalid data, right? So in this one, I want you to now I want you to create a criteria, right, that will not allow all these cells, right, will not allow them accept anything greater than 500, right? Anything greater than 500 is too much, and then nothing less than 100. Nothing less than, no, let me do it like this. Sorry. So if I say equals to range, right? So 445 and so yes, not more than, they should not take any value more than 445, and they should not accept any value less than 122. So pause the video and do the correction, right? Pause the video and do it, then come back for the correction rather. So okay, I've paused this. Then let me go and so first thing, after they highlighted, like I said, if you want to apply data validation on multiple cells, you have to highlight it, right? So I click on data validation. Now this time I want it to be a whole number, right, between 445 and 122. So I click on whole number. Now the minimum value I can have in these cells, I want it to be 122, and the maximum value should be 445, right? So input error uh, 445 and not less than 122. Alright, then the error alert, this time I wanted to say stop. I wanted to stop me. So stop. I don't have to customize an error, so amount of just let me just write anything actually, right? I mean, I did this one already, so if I say okay, now I'm applying this data validation to these cells. So if I say okay, now let me try and enter 500 in this cell. So see what comes out, not more than, if I click on any of the cells, right, Dropbox. So if I try and change this guy to, okay, where's the highest? Yes, let me change this to 500. If I press enter, right, that rubbish I wrote, and then the rubbish, more info on the rubbish I wrote. So I can retry, right? No, sorry, it's not the validation apart for numbers. It's okay. So let me see, 500. Right, so I have to cancel. In the end, I cannot edit the cell. Right, so that's that. That's the end of this video. So rewatch it as many times as you need to. Right, just rewatch. Alright, yes, so bye.